How you doing? It's Carlos Ramirez, owner of NVS Audio in Roselle, New Jersey. So tonight I'm doing a video that I've been working on for a long time. It's something that I get a lot of emails about and people constantly commenting on my YouTube, asking when I'm going to do the review, when is it ready. It's the showdown between all the 6.5 Pro Audio coaxials that we use here at the shop in motorcycle audio. So I've got my hands on all of them. The reason I waited so long to make this video, well, I got my hands on almost all of them, is initially when I was going to make the video, it wasn't a fair comparison. The Hertz coaxials were meant for boats and not for motorcycles. They really didn't fit. The Ground Zero coaxial wasn't weather resistant, and it wasn't designed for motorcycle use, and as soon as they got wet they would get destroyed. The Euphoria wasn't out yet. The Beyma, there was really nothing to compare the Beyma to because it was the largest driver, handled the most power, and was the only one at the time that had a horn-loaded compression driver built into the coax. So I waited about a year before I made the video, and now I actually have speakers to put up against each other. Something that I wanted to mention is, before you guys are harsh to judge these companies and these manufacturers, you have to realize that the motorcycle audio portion of the market is very, very small. So these speaker companies can only allocate money to build stuff that we use if it makes sense financially. So you have to realize that most people that, let's say, buy Harley Davidson, for example, so they buy a stock Harley Davidson, and if they don't get it with the boom audio system, it's like buying a Cadillac with Bose, and then you buy a Chevy, it doesn't have Bose. So the boom audio is like the Bose of Harley Davidson. So most people are actually happy with the factory sound if they have the boom audio. If not, they do a simple 2 or 4 speaker upgrade with a 400 watt amp like the Rockford setup. And for 90% of the people out there, that's enough. So you take a market where more than half the people that buy the motorcycle are happy with the audio or don't care about audio at all. Then with the other half of the market, if they have the boom audio upgrade from the factory, it makes them happy. Or if they do a 400 watt Rockford kit, that makes them happy. So then that leaves a small percentage of us. So we're talking half of the half of the half. So realistically, without knowing the numbers, I just know that it's a really, really small portion. So how much money are these companies really going to allocate for such a small part of the market? What we do, this is a really niche market. What we do is not widely done or supported, or as much as we'd like to believe that everybody loves loud audio on their Harley. It's just not the case. It's not the fact. So we're asking these companies to build stuff specifically for us. They're not going to build it if it's not going to sell. They don't want to fill a warehouse full of giant power handling speakers that aren't a drop-in fit for 1% of the market to purchase. So the power sports section of the market has been growing so fast, and the competition audio just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and every year some of these companies are starting to respond, like DB Drive Euphoria, Beyma, PRV, and they're making their speakers motorcycle specific. They're weather treating them. Hertz has come out with their motorcycle speakers. Mmats offers theirs in a marine treatment. So they've listened to what's going on in the aftermarket. I know me and Dorian do some prototyping for Ground Zero and Sound Digital. I know that the guys over at Asylums do prototyping for the guys from DB Drive Euphoria. I know Joey from Backyard Baggers does some prototyping for a bunch of different companies, including PRV. So these companies listen to what we're doing. They take our input, and these, for example, they've been working on the Ground Zero coax for about a year, and they finally came out with the 6.5. The 8 is to follow shortly. Euphoria has been doing some big things. Their 10 is currently the most sought after 10-inch mid-bass driver on the market. So let's jump right in. I've tested all these speakers and put them head to head. It's taken a while to do the video because I started doing RTA graphs and on every single one and then playing them so you can hear them. I'm gonna have to do individual videos later on. I've already done an individual video for the Ground Zero and the Hertz, so you're gonna have to search through my videos if you want to hear the individual speakers. This video would have taken way too long if I sat there and showed you the speaker playing and the speaker playing on the bike and the speaker playing on the bench, and it was just, I have a shop to run, so I make these videos when I can in the little bit of free time that I get before I go home. For example, it is 9:21 p.m. on Monday, November 16th. I'm tired, but it's worth it. I get a lot of feedback from you guys. It's helping a lot of people, so I'm going to take the time out of my day to do it. So the first three I'm going to talk about is the 3 horn-loaded, the ones that have the flared compression driver horn. So that is the Beyma Cx 200 ND neodymium versus, we don't have the Euphoria here. We ran out of stock. They sell really, really well. We just installed the last set in the customer's bike, but that would be the Euphoria EX6NCD Neo. And finally, the Diamond Audio MP654, also a Neo. So as you can see, here's a stock Harley speaker. The Beyma is the largest that we've tested. It is literally more than 2 times deeper than the stock Harley. The Euphoria is identical in size. The Diamond is about a ½ inch shorter. These are the most powerful motorcycle coax on the market. Hands down, there's nothing that plays as loud as these speakers. There's nothing that handles as much power as these speakers handle. But there's a major drawback. A lot of the Harley clients that we have do not want modifications to the motorcycle or the pods. That's why the Rockford kits are so popular. The Rockfords are drop-in fit. That's why we do really well with the Hertz coax. It's drop-in fit. None of these 3 speakers are drop-in fit. They require heavy, heavy, heavy modification to the speaker pods. We have a stock Harley-Davidson Road Glide pod here. This is 2015 and up. So obviously the factory Harley speaker fits because it was made for this pod. Drop-in fit. The Beyma, not even close, sticks out a ton. I'm going to attach the video to show you how we have to modify the pod to get it to fit. The Euphoria is exactly the same, and the Diamond does not fit. Diamond comes close, but we're still off by just about an inch. With the Beyma, we're off about 2 inches. Here we have modified pod. So the side's been cut and we've added sound deadener. So these pods have been modified. So the Ground Zero and the Mmats, they fit in. See, it fits all the way in. So in a modified pod, the Beyma still will not fit. Neither will the Euphoria, neither will the Diamond. So for the Beyma and the Euphoria requires the most modification. You have to cut the entire face off. Then you have to cut the back. You have to refabricate a ring. I'll show you a video on what you have to do to make that fit. So this is a Beyma sitting in a stock speaker pod. Beyma 6.5 coax. So you see, that's a good 2.5 inches that it sticks out. So, and the side of this pod is already modified and it still doesn't sit flat. And even if you get it to sit flat, the hole is bigger than the factory hole. This is the pod we've modified, so you have to cut the hole in the side for the magnet to clear. Then we have to cut the entire face off. So along this line right here, we have to cut the entire face off and bond a PVC ring to it. So this keeps the pod from hitting the Road Glide grill. And then with the pod cut, then we have enough room to drop in the speaker. the only way that speaker fits. And as you can see, we have a full 1/2 inch that we can bolt to, and we moved it back a 1/2 inch so it clears the grill so it doesn't smash the mid bass. There's 4 bolt holes. It bolts into all 4. So if you're gonna try and do this yourself and you're not able to fabricate, maybe you should pick a different speaker. But this one actually clears the speaker grill, doesn't hit at all, fits in the pod. But we have to do a ton of cutting. So that's the stock pod on top. That's how much we have to cut off, because that is that point down here. So you can see the difference between the 2 pods if you want to get that Beyma to fit in there. So you have to basically remove this entire section, drop it back a 1/2 inch, and then mold another ring into it. So up to here has to be completely cut off. Then you mold a ring sitting here. Then the speaker will drop in. I'm not sure how the other shops do it, but when we do it, we cut the pod and then we make a plastic ring and we set it back like a 1/2 inch. That way when the speaker's installed, the grill clips do not interfere with the speaker. Let me show you what it looks like with the speaker mocked up. Okay, with the speaker mocked up, you'll notice how much clearance we have between the cone and the grill area, and we don't have to cut any of the clips. The clips will go in their factory location. So they're super loud. They sound really, really good, but they're definitely not a drop-in fit. There's a lot of cutting involved to get them to fit properly. Okay, so if the pod modification is a non-issue, we have the Bama Neo Coax. They're weatherproof. They're $740 a pair. They offer a 2-inch voice coil. The protection for the tweeter is a 6 decibel per octave capacitor, so they don't offer that much protection for the tweeter. For us, it's a non-issue at the shop because we have our prototype crossovers that we use that allow us to have 12 dB protection on the tweeter and tweeter attenuation selectable from 0, -3, -6. So if you're running these, you have to be careful with the tweeter. So either we recommend running active on a DSP if you can, or build some sort of crossover network, or find yourself, if you can put a 12 dB per octave crossover on the tweeter, it would help not blow the tweeter up, especially with the amount of power these things can handle. The Beyma conservatively rates them at 80 watts RMS, but 400 watts program power. We have confirmed, program power means basically music playing through the speaker. We have confirmed that these speakers handle every bit of 400 watts. Every speaker we use in the test, we used a Sound Digital 800.4 bridged. So the speaker, it's a 5 ohm speaker, so it's seeing a little less than 400 watts, but on some of the competition bikes we've built, we've strapped these things to 1200s bridge, so they were getting 500 and something watts each. They handle it no problem. They have a 92 dB sensitivity rating, and their frequency response is rated from 65 to 20,000 hertz. We've tested them with a 50 hertz crossover point, and the mid bass was incredible. The speaker was super loud, super clean. It's a really, really good sounding speaker. It's really hard to pick one of the two between the Beyma and the Euphoria. The Euphoria is an EX6NCD neodymium, $870 a pair. They're super duper similar to the Beyma, like ridiculously similar. They're so similar that they're both 5 ohm drivers. Every other driver we tested is either, they're all 4 ohms, but the Mmats available in 8 ohms. Some of the other Beyma stuff's available in 8 ohms. The Fatale Pro stuff is 8 ohms, some is available in 4 ohms. These are the only 2 drivers we've tested and we use here at the shop that are 5 ohms. Weird, don't know why they do it, but whatever. The Euphoria definitely comes with a better crossover to protect the tweeter. It's a 12 dB per active passive crossover. So that means it's got a cap and a coil, not just a cap. All these speakers are weatherproof. They have a crazy rating of 400 watts RMS, 800 watts program. So we only tested on 400 watts and it took it like a champ. The speaker played a little bit louder than the Beyma, but the Beyma played a little bit lower. So the Beyma, they both played super duper duper loud, and they can both take more power than we used during our test. They can both handle way more than 400 watts RMS. But at 400 watts, the Beyma gave us more mid-bass. It played a little bit lower. We confirmed it on the RTA, but the Euphoria played a little bit louder, but it didn't play as low. So they have a stated frequency response of 80 hertz to 20,000 hertz, which confirms what we saw in the test. So 65 and 80 is not a big difference, but it did play a little bit lower. So if you need a little more mid-bass, Beyma gets a nod. If you need a little more overall volume, Euphoria gets a nod, but the differences are so small. Even the pricing is close. $740 a pair for the Beyma, $870 a pair for the Euphoria. Euphoria's got a crazy sensitivity number. Out of everything we've tested, it's definitely the highest, 105.7. Really, really good sounding speaker. The guys at Euphoria did a great job. Scott Owens from Insane Asylum said that these speakers are going to be amazing, and he was correct. Can't go wrong in my opinion either way. And then the third speaker that we tested was the Diamond Audio MP654. It's this bad boy right here. It's neodymium like the other three. The tweeter and the woofer have separate connection points, just like the Beyma, just like the Euphoria. What I liked about the Diamond was they come with a kick-ass passive 12 decibel per octave crossover, and then on top of that, including a really good crossover with a massive coil, they include a set of resistors in the box. The nice part about that is if you install them in a fairing and you feel that the tweeter is too bright, you install the resistor in line with the passive crossover, and it reduces the output of the tweeter. So if you feel the tweeter's too harsh or too bright, it's something we've been doing in the shop forever. Plus, every bike we do, we run a DSP. So with our crossovers, with the switch, you can attenuate the output of the tweeter. With Diamond, they include the resistor, so you can wire in the resistor if you find the tweeter's too harsh, and it'll attenuate the output of the tweeter, so the tweeter won't play as loud. It might not seem like this is important, but it really is, because when you're running a regular coaxial like this, these tweeters are not that bad. When you're running these horn-loaded compression drivers and they're in your face, things so bright it'll give you a tan. So a lot of these bikes, I don't know how these customers ride them. We build them for these clients, but some of these tweeters are so bright. Me and the guys are at the shop are like, damn. So I could definitely see how riding for a while with these things in your face would get a little overbearing. But so with the Beyma, 2-inch voice coil. Euphoria, 2-inch voice coil. The Diamond, 1.5-inch voice coil. So obviously the power handling is going to be less. Voice coil has a large part in determining how much power a speaker can handle. Larger the voice coil, more power a speaker can handle. So obviously it's got a smaller voice coil. Obviously it's going to handle less power. So with a 1.5-inch voice coil, it's 50 watts less. So it's they claim 300 watts program, which is 100 watts less than the Beyma, and they claim 150 watts RMS. So sounds about right. We tested it at 400 watts RMS, and it took it, but we did high pass it at 90 hertz. They claim a frequency response of 110 to 18K. I don't know why 18K. I guess it's something that they do with the tweeter. Most of these every single one claims to play 20,000. I don't know why the Diamond's only 18, but you really can't hear anything about above 15 to 18,000 hertz anyway. It's just weird that they just say 18 and not 20 like everybody else. It's high sensitivity, 101 dB of sensitivity. Quick look over the page, it is the second highest behind the Euphoria. Really efficient speaker. But out of the three, I would put these three in a category by themselves. So the Beyma, the Euphoria, and the Diamond. So it's a close race between the Beyma and Euphoria. You can't go wrong either way. They're both the loudest in the class out of all the ones that we've tested. They handle a ridiculous amount of power. So it's one of the only drivers that we tested that you can do an 800.4 bridge. You can do a 1200.4 bridge. Like, there is no amount of power that these speakers cannot take. And this is only for the 6.5s. The 8, almost every one of these companies offers an 8-inch coaxial that can handle even more power. It's ridiculous, but takes a ton of power to get these things moving. But if you have the power to give them, you cannot go wrong. But for most people, price will be a determining factor. So Beyma and Euphoria, both over $750 a pair. The Diamond is a lot more affordable at just under $400 for the pair, so $380 for a pair, but you will be giving up a little bit of power. You will not be giving up any quality of sound, though. They sound really good. It's just they don't have the mid bass that the other two have. They don't play as loud, but they're definitely louder than the rest of the 6.5 coaxials that we're going to compare. It's not. That's why I put these three in a category by themselves, because they have horn-loaded drivers. They have the trumpet in the front. They're all neodymium, so neo magnet, handles more power, more powerful magnet, stronger, and obviously it's going to be louder. The neo speakers always, well, most of the time it's going to play louder than a ferrite speaker. So Beyma, Euphoria, the loudest out of all the speakers that we've tested, hands down, but we knew that before going into the test. We already knew that. We like the 12 decibel per octave crossover in the Euphoria. We like the 12 decibel per octave crossover in the Diamond. Wish that the Beyma had it, but if you're running active, so that means every speaker, so if you put the tweeter on its own channel and the woofer on its own channel, you can control that through the DSP. You don't have to worry about it. If you're running the Beyma on the amount of power that you're running the Euphoria, please make sure you protect the tweeter. Make sure you either purchase a 12 decibel per octave crossover or build some sort of crossover. If you need help with that, you can email me or call me. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to say that the Beyma and Euphoria are a tie. We install more Beyma than we do Euphoria, so we're more comfortable with the Beyma. Plus, we also like the carbon fiber line, so we're going to call it a tie. You can't go wrong either way. If you're willing to spend $700, $800, $900 on a pair of 6.5 coax, that's the way to go. The Diamond cannot compare to the other two, but if you only have $400 to spend, say look at the Diamond, you're going to need a mid-bass driver to back it up because it does not play low. So at 100 dB and up, depending on how you're crossing over your woofers in the bag, or especially if you're running subwoofers, that might leave a gap between where the 6.5 stop and your 8s, 10s, or 12s, whatever you have in the bag start. So that might be something to look into. But all really, really good speakers. You won't be disappointed in any of those three. So next we'll move to the Hertz Sx 165 Neo. So Hertz Sx 165 Neo, I really, really love this speaker. Glad Hertz came out with it. Their biggest claim to fame is drop-in fit. These things fit in every single application that a 6.5 calls for. It's our go-to speaker if the customer has an Ultra and it has the speaker pods on the tour pack, or if the bike came with lowers. All these other speakers need spacers or modifications or giving up the rear controls on with the Hertz. You have no issue with that. So it's a PA driver. It's high sensitivity. It's really loud. Drop-in fit, factory pod, no modification. That's why we sell so many of them, because some of these clients want zero modification to the bike and the pods. So in the pods, drops in, no spacer. All these require pod modification and a 1/2 inch spacer. For the other three that we talked about, it's not, they're not going in tour pack pods. You can forget it. Unless you do an inch and a half spacer, it's just ridiculous. I wouldn't even try it, and then it's gonna make it super uncomfortable for your rear passenger. But look at the Hertz drop-in fit. This is the factory pod, the one that's not modified. So if you want a speaker that's a drop-in fit, can handle a ton of power, and sound good doing it, Hertz is awesome. So it's $300 a pair, super affordable. They're weatherproof, 1.5-inch voice coil. They have 100 watts RMS, 200 watts of music or program power. Super underrated, I know for a fact, because we tested it with 400 watts. We did high pass it at 150 hertz. Hertz lists the frequency response at 100 to 20K. Has a 6 dB per octave crossover to protect the cap. So we high passed it at 150 to get it to handle the 400 watts. It's got 96.5 sensitivity rating. Really, really good speaker. Lots of value. If you want zero modification drop-in fit, the only other speaker that does that would be the Rockford. The Rockford is also a drop-in fit, zero modification, but in our opinion, it cannot keep up with these other coaxes. It cannot keep up with the Hertz. The Rockford Power, it's a Mmats PA. It's weatherproof, $320 a pair. One of the reasons it can't keep up, it has the smallest voice coil out of all the speakers we tested. It's a 1.4-inch voice coil. They list the RMS power of 75 watts, and they list the program power at 150 watts. We did test it at 400 watts, but we had to dial it back. They list a frequency response of 56 hertz to 20K. We couldn't get it to play that low, but we were also running more than double the RMS power, to be fair. We had to high pass them at 200. I'm a big fan of Rockford. I'm not a big fan of these 6.5s. I don't think they sound that great. They're mediocre at best. But in Rockford's defense, Rockford's Power Sports amplifier is only 100 watts per channel. So paired with the Rockford amplifier and a DSP, these speakers do what they're designed to do. They're not really powerful. They're drop-in fit. They fit in tour pack pods. They fit in the factory speaker pods. They fit in lowers. Zero modification, but their performance is mediocre at best when you compare them to these powerhouses that we have here on the table. The Rockford kit has an awesome fit and finish, and something I'd like to note about the price point, $320 might sound expensive, but it's not when you think about what you're getting. Drop-in fit, weatherproof, and it's the only one of all of these speakers that comes with the grills. So it comes with their Harley-Davidson replacement grills. The reason this is a big deal is if you're doing a street glide or a road glide that came with the boom audio tweeter is built into the grill. So when you remove the speaker and you remove the grill, you actually have to purchase a grill. So you'd have to get like a Hog Tunes grill. Those grills are $50. So the road glide grill and a universal grill and a street glide grill come included in the kit when you buy the speaker. So for $320 you get the speaker and the grill. So if you subtract the price of the grill, you're really getting the speaker kit for $270. So some might not care. That might offer value to some. I know we had from all the 6.5s that we installed, we have a few grills laying around. So there have been times where a customer come with broken or missing grills, and then we can replace their grills using the Rockford grill, or when they get the Rockford kit, we can upgrade their grill to the Rockford grill. It's an okay speaker. We're not big fans of the 6.5. The 6x9 we love. We love the Rockford 6x9. We just did a bite this weekend where we bridged an 800.4 and running DSP. The speaker took all of it with ton of mid bass. There's a lot of people out there that aren't fans of the Rockford 6x9s. We like them. In a proper application with a proper DSP setting, they sound really good. The fit and finish is amazing. They take up zero space in the bag. The bags don't leak. But the 6.5, in my opinion, leaves a little bit to be desired. And out of all the ones we tested, the one that I like the least. Sorry, Rockford, you got to work on that. And I keep saying it, You guys really, really, really need to come out with a different level. Like, I understand you can offer your regular stage kits, affordable, drop-in fit, but you should, especially in the power line, you guys build a 19-inch subwoofer. You guys can build us a badass motorcycle amplifier. 1200 watts wouldn't be bad. And a badass coaxial to go with it. I mean, give us something super powerful. You guys make $2,000 component speakers for the car. If you can build, you can see that Bama is offering a $740 coaxial set. Euphoria is offering an $870 coaxial set. Why couldn't a big name brand company like Rockford give us something more than a $300 set of coaxials? You have Rockford fanatics out there that would buy a 1200 watt amp from you and a speaker that can handle an amplifier bridge. Something to think about. Okay, next is the Ground Zero that was just released. The speakers created a huge buzz, and there's a good reason for it. They sound awesome. Out of all the speakers we've tested, these play the lowest. Frequency response of 50 to 20K. Conservative power handling rating of 100 watts. 200 watts program or speaker power. Super underrated. We tested on a 400 and it took all of it. We high passed them at 50 Hertz, 12 dB per octave, and it took every bit of it. These speakers sound great. Love these speakers, one of my personal favorites. The build looks almost identical to the Mmats. It's about a 1/4 inch deeper, both Ferrite magnet speakers. So out of the 4 that we're comparing now, the only one that's Neo is the 2 Neos are the Rockford and the Hertz. The Mmats and the Ground Zero are both Ferrite magnet speakers. So part number on the Ground Zero is a gzcf 6.5 SPL. It has a retail price of $250 a pair. Super duper affordable. I was kind of upset because I feel the speaker should have been a $3.99 a pair. I was going back and forth with Diago about this, and I felt that the speaker should have came in at $3.99, and they could have bumped the power handling a little bit. But the reason I thought it should have came at that price point is we already had the Mmats speaker at the $249 price point, so I needed something at a $3.99 price point to offer my customers the difference. So they kept the price point at the Mmats price point at $249, and they did offer my customers a difference. The Mmats speaker plays a little bit louder. The Ground Zero speaker plays lower. So if we're doing a bike that's not getting woofers in the bags, it's going to be a Ground Zero recommendation all day, every day, because these things create a really good amount of mid-bass in the fairing without dropping anything in the bags. We did it. We posted the video yesterday, the day before. These things sound awesome. They're inexpensive at $249 a pair. Do require pod modification, so this is our modified pod, and they fit right in. Just cutting this section out, no modification to the front ring. Thank you, Ground Zero. You did a great job. Sensitivity of 93. They come in 4 ohms, only 4 ohms, and we tested them at 400 watts. It has a 12 dB per octave crossover to protect the tweeter, which makes sense if you think about it. If you have a speaker that plays lower, means more bass going through the woofer, so going to the speaker. So if you have more bass going to the speaker and more power going to the speaker, obviously the tweeter needs a little bit more protection, so they stepped it up. Where everybody else is using a 6 dB cap, they're using a cap and coil. It makes it a 12 dB, which protects the tweeter more. Since the speaker's getting more bass and playing more bass, it's blocking more bass from the tweeter with the 12 dB per octave crossover. Thank you, Ground Zero. It makes complete sense. So, the #1 selling speaker in the shop before the Ground Zero was released, hands down, Mmats PA 601 CX. The reason it's such a popular speaker for us is requires minimal modification. It's inexpensive. We're talking $260 a pair if you get the marine treated, which obviously you need to on a motorcycle. So directly from Mmats, the speaker comes marine treated. It's weather resistant. It's 1.5-inch voice coil. The reason these speakers were so popular for us is we do a lot of factory upgrades. So we do a lot of regular rider bike, non-competition bikes where the customers don't want to give up bag space. They want front rear speakers, 800 watt amp, DSP, something that they can beat up on all day and all night, won't shut off, get caught in the rain, you'll be fine. That was our go-to speaker. We have a ton of components that we offer, but then you have to find a spot for the tweeter. So this whole review is only coaxials. So out of all the coaxial, a lot of the pro audio companies do not offer a coaxial, or they offer one coaxial and it's not weather resistant. So before the Mmats and the Hertz came out, before the Ground Zero and the Hertz came out, Mmats was our only option out of all the speakers we carried, and a really good weatherproof pro audio speaker for motorcycles that could take the abuse. So now that the Ground Zero is out and the Hertz, so now we have 3 different to offer, and they're all similar price points. So we have the drop-in fit, fits everywhere, no modification. Not a big fan of the Hertz tweeter. It's loud, but there's just something about the way it sounds. But drop-in fit, 2 thumbs up. The Ground Zero is our pod modified a little bit mid-bass monster, and the Mmats is our pod modified a little bit, super loud, good sounding. So you can go with any of these 3 speakers and not be upset. The Mmats only has a 6 decibel per octave crossover to protect the tweeter. The Mmats comes in at $260 a pair, 1.5-inch voice coil, conservative rating of RMS 100 watts, music power 150 watts. We tested at 400 watts, no problem. It's got 95 dB sensitivity. They recommend frequency response 120 hertz to 20,000 hertz. We tested at 400 watts, 6 decibel per octave, 80 hertz, and the speaker took every bit of it. So they handle power, they're underrated, they're weather resistant, they're a good solid speaker. Can't go wrong. So those are our, so we have our high power, Beyma, Euphoria, and Diamond, and then we have our lower power. We have Rockford, Hertz, Ground Zero, Mmats. We carry all these speakers. We always have these speakers in stock. You just have to pick the one that works for you. So Ground Zero, mid-bass monster, really good sounding speaker, good all-around speaker. And Mmats, super loud, really good sounding speaker, takes abuse, no problem. Then the Ground Zero does not offer this speaker in a 6x9 yet. Mmats offers 2 6x9, coaxial and regular PA non-coaxial. The non-PA coaxial has a ton of mid-bass like the Ground Zero 6.5, but in a 6x9. So if we were doing a bike where the customer wanted 6.5s in the front, 6x9s in the back, no woofers in the bags, then we would do a Ground Zero Rockford combo or a Ground Zero Mmats 6x9 combo. We just did the Ground Zero Rockford combo, came out awesome, customer loves it. Or we would do a Ground Zero in the front, Hertz 6x9 combo, because the Hertz Neo 6x9 is one of my personal favorites. The thing is a monster, ton of mid bass, handles a ton of power. Of course, we tested on an 800.4 bridge. It was absolutely no problem for the speaker to handle. So I hope I've given you some good information to work with. If you go shopping, you can't go wrong with any of these speakers. The Hertz drop and fit, Hertz quality, Hertz warranty is second to none. So I don't want to say this wrong, but I'm pretty sure through us, all these speakers have a 3-year warranty. We offer a 3-year warranty to all our clients on all our speakers, lifetime warranty on all our installs. So through us, everything on the table has a 3-year warranty. Okay, so as far as the warranty, Beyma, 3-year warranty as long as it's purchased and installed by an authorized dealer. Euphoria, I'm very surprised by this, but only a 1-year warranty. Diamond Audio, 1-year warranty. Hertz, 2-year warranty. Ground Zero, 1-year warranty. No burnt voice coils. Mmats, 1-year warranty, no burnt voice coils. Rockford has been a very pain in the ass with me as far as warranty, but it's 1-year warranty. We've had issues in the past. Their warranty process is not as streamlined as I would like it to be, but luckily on all the motorcycle stuff they've been good. No questions asked, so that's a conversation for another day. But all these companies offer between a 3 and a 1-year warranty. The leader in warranty is Beyma with 3-year. Following them, it's Hertz. Our customers all get a 3-year warranty if purchased and installed through NVS. Well, it has to be installed through NVS Audio because we don't sell over the counter. The only reason we're able to offer such an aggressive warranty is every motorcycle we do gets a DSP. Every motorcycle gets tuned with an RTA and oscilloscope. So this eliminates clipping, eliminates the overheating of a voice coil. If a speaker lasts a year, it's going to last 3 years. As long as the customer doesn't abuse it. We have a ton of high-end customers. These guys spend a ton of money on their bikes. They travel hours to come see us. The last thing they want to do is abuse their bike and abuse their equipment and deal with warranty issues. So we're able to offer a 3-year warranty because of the close relationship we have with a lot of manufacturers that we deal with, and the fact that every single bike gets a DSP. So when you're doing steep crossover slopes and your amplifiers are not clipping and you know where the radio starts to distort in the output, you're not going to have blown speakers. It's just not going to happen. Now, when it does happen, it's few and far between, but we take care of it. You can reach out to any client that we have. We're all over the Facebook groups and Instagram and YouTube, so you can reach out to any client that we've had and ask them about warranty issues. They're non-existent. Even if one brand fails and we switch them into a different brand, we don't charge them, we just handle it. Thank you. I hope this helps. See you guys later. Hope this information helps. I'm tired. I'm going home. It is 10:22 now. Thank you guys. See you next time.